Hi guys, today I want to tell you all about divine power recognition. I know we've all kind of heard of like divinity from the Bible in general, but today I want to go in more like retrospect, like what is it? Like we know the term, but it kind of describes in my thesis, recognizing divine powers and interventions changes Christians' understanding of what human life is, strengthening faith through challenges and influences those to shape the way they treat others with more respect and consideration. So first I kind of want to talk about like what is the meaning of life and like beyond what we can see. Like we understand like the trees, it's a little rainy right now so they don't look their best, but they usually like they're springing out, everything's like colorful, but we're not able to see like the omnipotent and like omnipresent God that's with us all the time. And we start to kind of forget about things such as that. So the definition of divine power is both from a like secular point of view and a Christian worldview. The Christian one is how it's a supernatural ability and authority attributed to a deity like God or a higher spiritual force. And secular is the awe-inspiring blind forces of nature and the fundamental laws of physics or a collective sense of human connection. And God's glory is central in biblical revelation, not just revelation like the book itself, but everywhere across the Bible. We're able to see God's glory in his like spirity for us and how he is very like forgiving. And whenever we're able to see his glory like this, that alone can be part of his divinity that we can tend to forget about. So how does believing in divine power accelerate joy in our lives? So purpose itself acts as an like internal compass, and I get this from the purpose, like the key to better decision making in Harvard, and also in Peter 6-7, very funny, but it was helpful. But Peter talks about how without God we are nothing, and without like faithful like consequences or challenges, such as like Job, whenever he's going through everything, but still keeps his life and faith in Christ. It kind of reflects back to us what we need to be thinking about no matter what happens in his divinity. Sorry, I'm having a little lag. Okay, Christian faith is strengthened through challenges, kind of like I've just said, but faith, like recognizing the divine powers gives our lives direction and makes us feel empty without it. So faith built on beliefs of divinity encourages kindness, patience, and acting as servants for those who desire the help and not just forcing it upon them. And we can see this in Christ as well, like we have to accept him in order to get like his like more like physical engagement. And also like why I'm capitalizing like divine power, divine intervention, because whenever I think of divine power, I think of like God, and God has like so many like names, like Elohim, God of like humanity, and I feel like the God of divinity or just God in general is enough to kind of wake us up to like a different kind of title for him, and knowing that he is like literally capable of all because he's created all. And my story that goes into this, whenever I think I've talked about this before, but whenever I come from like a separated family, I'm not given as much like Christianity that I should be given. I'm more like secularism. But whenever I'm at like Covenant, I tend to see God's divinity even closer than I would in most places. So is also having a Christian environment is able to help you kind of like get out of your bubble of either secularism or just like worriness in general. So joy is the conclusion of accepting Christ's divinity. So joy comes from the Father, not circumstances. Like if you're getting like a promotion at work or like a raise, that's great, but that's not joy from the Father. That's just like a little happiness. But joy from God the Father is everlasting and very like eternal. And then faith reframes struggles as meaningful rather than pointless, kind of going back to how I spoke about Job and how like his entire life kind of just cratered around him. But whenever he kept his faith and it reframed his struggles, he was able to kind of like understand even farther what he needed to do and how he needed to keep his like spiritual life in Christ. And the belief in God creates deeper, lasting happiness because of this. And yeah, like just kind of like recap, the divine power, it gives us the ability to see others with more compassion and value. And faith is built on the belief of divinity and encourages kindness, patience, and acting as servants for those who desire help. And a real life application, how letting go gave the divine power access into my heart from my story. Okay, thank you.